Today, we had a really interesting conversation about some sentence level editing. I took some sentences from your homework and we talked about whether or not they were correct and had a discussion about the grammar. One of the sentences that we had a discussion about was the one that's on your screen, and I thought that the discussion was really interesting, and I said that I would bring it back for a video just to talk through some of the fixes that we made. So the sentence is here: for my family and I, the most important part of being in a loved family is love and values we have. So we talked about some of the grammar we've already been talking about this semester, and also a preview of a couple things we will talk about later, and how understanding those smaller grammatical items help us understand the larger grammatical nature of the sentence. So for this one, we simply started by trying to highlight the nouns and the verbs and things like that. So I want to pull up a couple of things here. I'm going to pull up my highlighter. And in class, we talked about highlighting the nouns. So we said family was a noun. We said that I was a noun, which is true. It's a pronoun. We said that part was a noun, which is true. We also said family is a noun, which is correct. We said love and values were also nouns. So all of these things are nouns. And the question that I asked in class was, what's the main noun? We can investigate whether or not this sentence is correct by first identifying the main noun and the main verb, and then unpacking everything from there. So that's the first thing we want to do. So we highlight the nouns to see which one is the main noun. And we talked about a few grammatical items that we've been talking about in class or will talk about in class. One thing we talked about was this sentence right here, this part of the sentence right here, actually being a prepositional phrase. The preposition is of. So if it's a prepositional phrase, usually it's not going to be part of the main noun. It might be part of the main noun phrase, but it's not the actual discrete one word or two word main noun. So we can take family off the list because it is part of that prepositional phrase. We also notice there's a preposition up here, for, and that tells us that we have a prepositional phrase right here. And this prepositional phrase is actually an introductory phrase. So one of the things that needs to be corrected with this sentence is after an introductory phrase, we have a comma. So now we know everything in an introductory phrase is not part of the main noun. So we can also take family and I off the list. We can say those are not the main noun. Next, if you look for a main verb, you might have found that the main verb is. Because love and values come after the main verb, these are also off the list, and these are not the main noun of the sentence. So through deduction, looking at our grammatical rules we've been discussing, there is only one word left that is actually a possibility for being the main noun of the sentence, and it is part. So we're going to unhighlight everything except for part, because part is the main noun of the sentence and is the main verb of the sentence. Now, in class, several students made a very good point. They said, I think that is a problem. I think that is should actually be are, because after the verb is, we have love and values, which is two things. So the verb should be are. So when we change are, we have, which is a great suggestion, we have a small issue. When we're talking about what form the verb should take, it needs to match the subject. It needs to match the subject of the sentence. And here we said the subject of the sentence is part. So part is singular, but now we've changed this to are because love and values are plural. So it makes us think, okay, we've changed the verb because of the object, what comes after the verb looks like it's more than one thing, so it should be plural, but our noun is singular. Then the verb should match the main noun of the sentence, so technically it should be is, but because actually there are two parts, as you pointed out in class, love and values, it actually is are, which means we need to change the subject to parts. So the actual subject of the sentence should be parts. So if we highlight the whole thing here, we've got for my family and I, the most important parts of being in a loved family are love and values we have. So now we come down here and we love and values are two specific things here because it's modified by this adjective clause. They are the love and values that we have. It's not general love, it's not general values, it's specific because they are the ones that we have. Therefore, the last thing we need to fix is adding a definite article here, adding the, because these are specific values. The love and values we have, or optionally, that we have. So that's the sentence we looked at in class today, and that's how you correct it by adding punctuation, by changing the subject and the verb slightly, using a lot of the grammar that you've talked about in other classes and that we've reviewed a little bit here in Summer Bridge. Prepositions, prepositional phrases, introductory phrases, subject-verb agreement, do they match? Those types of grammatical conversations, when you put them all together, can really help you understand if your sentence is written correctly, and it helps us when we are doing sentence level editing. Thank you so much for listening to this video.